The digital world moves fast, but real growth comes from real conversations. This is e-Coffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Victor here with Coffee with Experts. And today I am bringing you a friend from Lisbon. Christina Petushenko is here with us. But first, let me introduce you a little bit of what she does and why she's here on the show. You see, either if you're a restaurant and you need good pictures for your food and those that you're selling, maybe on Uber Eats or other platforms, you can either go with stock images on Google or you can take pictures of yourself, right? I mean, of your food. But the point is, we don't know usually how to take pictures of our food. We try different angles, different lighting, especially when I'm in a restaurant and I want to show it to my parents. There's usually there's even some memes about it, right? Where like you want to eat, but then your girlfriend's trying to take a picture. But this is a thing of the past right now. And is it because of AI? No. And that's the big catch of today's episode, because Christina is the CEO and the co-founder of the food photography app by Splento. And what is Splento? Splento is an on-demand photo and video production service worldwide where they connect you with photographers from all over the world to make sure that your pictures, not only food ones, are being taken by professionals. But since I'm already hungry and wanting to talk more and get to know more about her story, let's just begin. Christina, thank you so much for being here with us. How are you doing today?
Hi, Victor. Thank you for having me. I'm great.
Of course. Yeah, no, it'll be our pleasure to understand more about the things that you have been doing. We already talked a little bit, and I do understand that as of right now, you are handling this food photography app service slash team inside of Splento in a remote way. Before I jump ahead, why don't you tell us how did it all work out? How did it all came to be? I know that you're living in Lisbon. You're from Ukraine. How long have you been here? Are you enjoying the Portuguese food? Are you taking pictures of the Portuguese food? Or is it just a messy blob that you never want to take care of again?
Yeah, definitely. Taking a picture of good francesinha. I think it's a good promotion of Portuguese
Mhm.
culture for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's actually do a quick disclaimer for those that are watching us. Do go on Google and look for Little French, which is the translation in English, but the name itself is francesinha, which is a sandwich with a very hot sauce made of beer and spicy, as well as meat, several of. My mouth is already wet just thinking about it. And cheese. It's one of the most traditional plates and dishes here in Portugal, especially in the north part of it. And I'm very much recommending it to anybody. So once this episode is over and you're gonna click on all of Christina's links down below the like button, do also take a look at some francesinhas. Alas, why don't you start right now talking about you before I continue blabbing about how much I love francesinhas?
Yeah, let's start. Let's crack on.
Perfect, perfect. So you see, I also, besides asking people for their story and their professional side of things, I also like to understand how they are as a human beings. So talking about you as a person, were there any particular interests or experiences that made you go through the product development route and the entrepreneurship route? Or was it just by accident all of a sudden you found yourself in this market?
Yeah, great question. So I think it's important to say that I identify myself more as a product person. So I
Perfect.
work in product development for around 5 or 6 years right now. And I had a marketing background before, working for 10 years in marketing. And I also co-founded my own product that you were talking about, the food photography app from scratch. So I really went this path from 0 to 1. And reflecting on my childhood, I think I was always interested in understanding how things work, how structures work, how products work, how people work, understanding the people motivation and behavior. I think, like when kids are playing with some toys or games, I was interested not only in using the game, but also understanding why it was designed like this. So yeah, maybe there were some small hints already. And the path wasn't so linear. I started in marketing. I started just as an intern in a marketing agency working, 24/7. Agencies usually very fast-paced environment. And I moved through the stages from marketing to product because I wanted more impact and I wanted to really be connected to actual building the experience and not only crafting the message about the product itself. Yeah, this is my path.
It's an interesting one, especially as you said, you were thinking outside of the box already. While people were just enjoying it, you were trying to understand why they were enjoying it. Why was such a product there on the table right in front of you? And this is actually something that even myself right now, whenever I see, for example, whenever I'm thinking of getting myself a service and I see the price of that service, I try to be the most reasonable possible to understand how are they profiting from that service. Not a lot of people take that into consideration. Like you, I don't know, ask for a freelancer photographer and your budget is only like $20 an hour, 20 euros an hour. Do you know how much the photographer will spend just to go to your place to win 20 bucks an hour? Is that a reasonable ask? Most of the times it's not. We don't know about we don't think about the other side that much, right? We don't think about how much they're spending just to promote or do that service for us. And we just want the cheaper option possible. The cycle itself will never change once people try to understand that, yeah, I want to pay less than what you're asking for, but at the same time, is it worth it? Won't it come, in the future to hunt you down? Like one last thing that I'm going to share during my wedding, I hired a very, very amateur photographer because back in Brazil, this was a thing where when you go to City Hall, you have to fill up the form saying that you're getting married. And some people, there weren't photographers. They were just trying to earn some money. But they were standing outside waiting for you to come. And then they had their cannons in their hands saying like, hey, I can take pictures out of you. Like, yeah, sure. Why not? We're just signing some papers, not like the official party. It's not the official wedding, but sure, why not? And it was kind of like an auction where whoever's the cheapest, you would go for it. And I remember that I didn't have enough money because it wasn't in my plan to hire a photographer. And I hired one and the pictures came and it was better to just, I don't know, throw money away in the street because the guy wasn't a professional. The amount itself was very cheap. So it was affordable. For sure it was, but it wasn't worth it. You see, it just wasn't worth it because those pictures were awful. And right now it's, I don't know, kept in a place here inside home, which I don't know of. But that's mostly about not trying to save money whenever we can, right? It's about knowing how to spend it and knowing how to build a product. It's at the same level. So let me ask you this. What inspired you with everything that I just said to fill the market with the food photography app? Was it because of the growth of AI? Was it because of something that you noticed during your time at Splento doing other things? And then, wow, there is a market fit for this?
Yeah, definitely. This is what happened actually. It happened during COVID. Splento, even now, like as you said, it's an on-demand platform that actually connects you to professional photographers. And we have a lot of clients who are delivery companies or restaurants taking pictures. So they are ordering professional photographers.
Perfect.
And I used to work with these photographers and I actually saw how the shoot is structured, how the communication is handled, etc. So during COVID, when all operations stopped, you can imagine, we went to zero in one day and nobody wanted photographers in their restaurants. But food delivery actually skyrocketed and they all need picture because picture means conversion. Picture means
True.
order. And if you are not in the restaurant, you cannot really see what other people ordered or you cannot really get a feel. So everything that you have online is the picture. So picture really brings you the maximum information you can get when you're ordering food. So I started to research this industry just because we stopped our photography operations and started to talk with our customers. So restaurant owners, maybe social media managers who are working in restaurants, food delivery companies who are in need of good food photography on scale, actually, because they have thousands and hundreds of thousands restaurants on their platforms. And I really saw this market opportunity because I know all the problems that usually our clients face when scheduling the photo session. So for a restaurant, it's a pain often because they have to close the restaurant or they have to dedicate the specific area for the photo shoot. It's rather expensive. The photographer needs to bring the equipment. The restaurant has to cook all the food in advance. So this is a food waste for them. And often restaurant owners are so busy that they cannot even handle the shoot. And I saw hundreds of shoot being canceled last minute at the door. And on the other side, there was no really talks about AI in
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mobile photography was so good already that you could just take a picture with your smartphone, and almost everyone has a smartphone, right?
So
Or at least like a decent phone where they can take a picture, and they could send this picture to either a social media manager or to Uber Eats, let's say, if they are partnering with them. But the problem is that they don't know how to take the picture. They have
yeah.
very little knowledge about lighting, positioning, composition, etc., etc. So is the opportunity to guide restaurant owners to take pictures by themselves, and then it will help them lower their cost up to 90% actually, and still deliver high quality images, right? And use these images for their marketing channels or for food delivery platforms, etc. So this was the initial hypothesis, and I went it wasn't really like building the product by the book, because I went through really zero, having nothing, just user research and understanding my customers, to building an MVP, testing MVP, sometimes manually, really talking to restaurant owners in the cafe where I used to have my coffee, and validating this MVP, and also adding on more features, trying to really grasp what will be a game changer for them, what will be the feature that they will love, and just iterating, experimenting, monetizing this product, etc. And I think it's interesting. The interesting story here is that it sort of started as a B2C product, so helping just foodies and restaurant owners to take better pictures. But pretty fast it transitioned to be a B2B product, because I understood, I was talking to delivery companies, and I understood that they have a much bigger need, and this need directly translates into business results. So as soon as you have picture, our statistics say, well, it's not our, it's actually internationally available statistics from Uber Eats, Grubhub, and all of the platform publishing more or less the same numbers. They say that good imagery drives sales by 30%.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so you can imagine 30% more sales or 30% higher average order value for the restaurant. And sometimes if you're comparing no picture to a picture, it can be up to 100%, because users would prefer dish that
Knowing
has
what
the
will
picture.
come,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Know what to expect. So this is one of the two main factors actually for decision making, together with the price. That's why delivery companies became like way more interested, rather than just a B2C audience that we've already acquired with our
Makes
app.
sense.
So currently this product really transformed a lot, and this was, well, it was a hard decision to pivot fully to B2B. We had to change the product a lot. Currently, our product looks like a web app where we generate like unique tokenized link for each restaurant, and we connect directly via API, or we have an SDK integration for our clients. So I had to customize the product for each client to actually fit their requirements. So now it's a completely new ecosystem that we've built. And currently, the product is up and running. We have a couple of really big paying clients, and we're acquiring more clients. And we are now experimenting a lot with AI photography, because like since 2020, a lot of things have changed, and now we can really scale massively.
This was actually going to be my next question, in how and what are the unique advantages that you're offering to those restaurants in comparison to AI, but now you're doing both. So walk us through more about it, because whenever we're talking about AI generated photography content, right, we need to prompt it very well. We need to know what we're doing. Otherwise, it's going to look as fake as possible. But I'm sure that this is not what you're doing. So do share it with us. How is it that right now your food photography app is leveraging AI to make sure that the customers are, I don't know, maybe more satisfied or with a quicker turnaround time to make sure that the photo is live?
Yeah, currently we have, as I mentioned, we started working with AI photography as well. So we have two offerings. One is a food photography workflow that is working right now, and it's more like AI powered photography. So we still source the original picture from a restaurant, and often this picture is taken with the poor lighting, like really on the on the really bad background, just before they serve the dish to you, let's say. But it works for us because we are experts in retouching and AI
I see.
retouching as well. So we reconstruct the dish. We can actually work with a very small size of the file as well. And we will retouch the dish using some of our AI technology and using also human retouchers. So it always works with human control. Still, I wouldn't rely only on AI. We also moderate the pictures because sometimes you can just randomly, by coincidence, take a selfie. And of course, you don't want to upload selfie to your Uber profile.
Of
So
course.
yeah, so we are doing all this job for the restaurants, and then we deliver content to the platforms. But it's also important to understand that all platforms have different requirements and they want to maintain brand consistency.
Okay.
So we work according to platform requirements and we retouch our images or regenerate the images based on their guidelines. So it makes it way easier for restaurant, let's say, to be onboarded on any delivery platform, because instead of waiting for the photo shoot and then waiting for the photos to be retouched and delivered like for weeks and weeks, they can just get listed in a day and start getting their orders. So this is the first product. And the second product, as I mentioned, is AI photography. We are all like sort of skeptical, but also excited about AI. AI photography is great when it is possible to still accommodate some variability and the specifics of your restaurant. So you don't want, let's say, if you're a pizza restaurant, you don't want your pizzas look the same as the pizza of your competitor, right? So what we do, our unique, actually this product is called Photo Ready. We've just launched a couple of months ago. It took us some time to develop our technology. But what we do, we analyze the entire digital footprint of the restaurant and we generate, so it's a generation, it's AI generated images, but we generate hyper realistic images that are almost the same as if the restaurant would take a picture. So imagine you can onboard the restaurant as a delivery company, you can onboard the restaurant without even asking for initial pictures because there are
Mhm.
already some pictures maybe on their social media, maybe on some reviews, etc., etc. And we analyze the whole digital footprint for you and we generate this unique images, and they are also IP free because platforms, they do care about intellectual
The
property rights.
intellectual property, yeah. Okay. Look, now that you're mentioning it, I have one question as a user of Uber Eats, for example, because once you go to Uber Eats, a lot of the pictures, and this is for a while, this is not new, but a lot of the restaurants, they share pictures that look very similar to different restaurants. It's kind of like Uber Eats is providing them a stock image of pepperoni pizza, and they're mostly using the same. Is that how it happens, really? Or is it just a nice coincidence that they all look alike?
Currently, all the platforms work differently. Some platforms do allow stock images or just they allow you to upload whatever because they have their own KPIs to launch the restaurant as soon as possible because they want you to start getting your orders, right?
Yeah,
As
they
soon
want to
as
make money.
exactly. And they care about the merchant happiness. They measure how restaurants are happy in collaborating with them. And some platforms do not allow this. So I think there will be a discrepancy depends on the platform. But in general, this is something that we want to change because with this hyper realistic generation, we really rely on the specific style and the specific uniqueness of this restaurant. So there will be never like two pizzas that look the same. This is our goal.
Getting so much hungry just by this conversation. I wish I could have a pizza right now. But
Yeah, imagine I was working with working with data sets to actually train our models,
and you
and
had to see all the pictures of food.
yeah, every day you just see a lot of pictures of food, and then in the end of the day you have such a peculiar choice. So you think, oh, I want sushi, and also I want this slice of pizza. So it's a weird combination.
I wish I could have that exactly right now. Back in Brazil, I know that I'm gonna kill a lot of Italians by this. But back in Brazil, we usually have, depending on who you're talking about, but I am one of those. I would easily have spaghetti with barbecue with a slice of pizza besides it. Easily, easily. Because there are
Easily.
some all you can eat restaurants back in Brazil. They just serve sushi next to barbecue, next to Italian, next to rice and beans. And a lot of people have a little bit of each. You know, they don't know how to decide, so let's just have it all. But yeah, very much getting hungry. So let me come to the next question, which is still talking about AI, but do you see or are you excited about a future in regards to AI in visual commerce? Because as you said right now, you can retouch a lot of things only with AI. So this is a big help for you and a big help for the restaurants as well, because they don't need to keep on retouching their own pictures or reshooting their own campaigns because AI is there to help. But is there something else that you're also excited about that can come in the future that will make everyone's life easier?
Yeah, definitely. It's already there, right? AI really changes the industry, I would say.
Yeah,
First, it's cheaper.
true.
Costs are not such an important factor
Factor.
anymore for you because you can actually get anything pretty cheap. So you don't need to wait for the photographer to come and charge you, I don't know, $100 for a shoot. Also, speed. You can get almost anything within like seconds, maybe sometimes hours. Like in our process, there are still humans involved. We are checking manually every picture, so you need to wait a little bit. But still, it's a significant value that you get. You're going from onboarding restaurant or like listing your restaurant on the platform, let's say in weeks, to days and hours. And I would say flexibility. If you're a restaurant and you have a seasonal menu or you want to, I don't know, launch some Christmas offer or something, you are very flexible. You can do it easily in just minutes using only your smartphone. So yeah, I think AI is changing already and will change the industry dramatically.
Perfect. Now, I want to let the audience know that you're also running your own mentorship program, because that's going to be important for my next questions. Because as of right now, we've been talking about photography, AI, a lot of food, and how it all comes together, right? But then photos are just a part of the greater picture, because that's where marketing and strategies and channels come together to make sure that not only will we be satisfied through the picture themselves, but through the delivery, the support if necessary, and sometimes it is necessary. And once we need a support from a restaurant, it's usually because something bad happened. An order is missing, something is missing. This can be done through the app, or it can also be done through directly with the restaurant. So now that we know your expertise in regards to photos and food, and now the audience is ready to know more about your mentorship side of things, the entrepreneur side of Christina, let me ask you this. Do you see a lot of mistakes that the restaurants are still doing in regards to photography, in regards to AI, even in regards to marketing, that you, both as the CEO and as the mentor, could help them with?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've discussed it in the preparation that you can
Yeah.
look at every business as a product, as you're building a product. And I love this approach because product mindset involves experimentation. So let's say, okay, it can be anything. If you're a comedy stand-up artist, you can try and validate your jokes before you actually go like public, right? You can also try and validate your dishes if you're in the restaurant. So if you incorporate this product mindset of experimentation and measuring the result and learning from this experiments and looking at the data, you would become more successful and you will grow faster. This is something that I teach in my mentorship because I have this product experience building bigger products. The recent app that I worked with in wellness was 100,000 paying users in the US. The previous product that I worked with is a Deezer streaming service app, 16 million monthly active users. So it's
Yeah.
pretty developed products. And
Very famous in Brazil, by the way.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
good to hear.
It is. It is.
Yeah, yeah. So I have this diverse experience, like working with products on different stage, and also I have my own founder experience. So now
Yeah, true.
I've accommodated something that I can share, and that's why I started my mentorship. And that's what I work on with founders. So no matter, like mostly my founders that I work with is still founders of digital products or services. But of course, if you're a restaurant owner, you're welcome to come and I will help you to actually adopt this product mindset and experiment. And also what is important, like really listen to your users to incorporate this feedback and not to build or not to prepare in a way, if we're talking about food, not to build something that your users will never want or never use.
Yeah.
So I think this just saves immense amount of time and
It does.
effort and money.
It does. And saving money, saving effort, saving frustration. I always talk about frustration. We want to save the most frustration possible on any side, on the customer side, on the company side, on the employee side. We don't want to have more frustrations in lives than those that we already have. So it all comes back to having strategies, right? And right now, I am actually a little bit frustrated with a side company that I'm helping a friend with. And one of their channels, their WhatsApp channel, gets a little bit cluttered with men wanting to talk to that company, but because that company's face is a girl, men are coming to try and get a date with the girl from the ad. So it's very frustrating because we put the time and the effort, everything's working perfectly, but we couldn't predict the reaction of the public. We couldn't predict how and why they were going to get in touch. So let me ask you this, with the experience that you have both at Splento and at your mentorship, to save those frustrations from happening, do you have a channel or a growth lever that you know delivers the best ROI, even though it might take a little bit of time, like SEO does, or it can be as quick as an influencer marketing does? But do you have a favorite one where you know, okay, things might go sideways, but most of the times they will just work brilliantly?
Well, that's a good question. Looks like you're searching for silver bullets,
I
but
am
it doesn't
always.
exist. It doesn't exist, unfortunately. And what I do usually in my products and what I teach my founders that I work with is to experiment. So unless you
Perfect.
try, you will never know. And you really have to get, and in your case, it's great. You're getting a real feedback from the market, right? That probably you're targeting the wrong audience. Maybe it's not your audience and you have to change your marketing strategy or the channels or the message that you're sending, correct? To acquire the audience that is more relevant and will be bringing your long-term business results. So I would say there is no silver bullet and you really need to test the channels. And also you need to find the product channel fit and you need to see how acquisition cost fits into your unit economics. Remember our conversation in the beginning, I really liked that your mindset that if you see let's say a photographer running their business, you have numbers in your head. It's like, okay, how the unit economic works, like what are his cogs,
How is
what
he
are
paying
his
his bills, you know? How is he paying his
this is
bills?
a great mindset. Yeah, just experiment and try and feed this new information that you get from an experiment into your unit economics and just see if it works or not. For
Okay.
us for Splento, specifically for the food photography solution, and this is like a B2B solution, content marketing worked a lot. Also partnering with platforms worked a lot, like really creating strong content explaining why it works and really being based on real business value of your solution. This is something that worked for us. And of course, like thousands and hundreds of demo calls, just showing the product and just explaining and talking. And this is great because it's sort of a combination of sales outreach and customer research. When I'm on
So,
the call, I will ask about their problems and their needs, and I will understand how to adjust my product to their specific needs.
and talking then about the different channels, the different reactions that the customers might have, and getting back to AI, at least in my personal case, I use AI a lot to create strategies and put them in practice in a way where I wasn't thinking of. So like, hey, ChatGPT, I need to reach XYZ audience. I can create a video of myself, I can send an email, I can get in touch for LinkedIn, but I don't know exactly how or what I should tell. Can you help me? So AI is there for the help, right? It's helping a lot of people get shit done. But do you also see a way where AI can contribute in maintaining brand consistency across various marketing channels? Is this something that you're doing at Splento, utilizing AI to help with different channels? Or are we still talking? And if that's the case, that's super fine. But are we still talking about the human brain being the best possible way to maintain such consistency?
I think it's not a replacement for sure. It's just
Perfect.
an add-on.
Yeah.
So like you would have a second brain and you can talk to yourself and brainstorm with yourself. This is how I perceive AI. And it's just an expansion of your own cognition versus replacement. And yeah, about the AI being helpful, probably repurposing the content or like just more easy creation of the content would work. You can create videos. You can actually create a digital avatar of yourself and just record a demo before you're sending it to your clients. So you can really save time on the calls or on the specific video recording for this customer. Yeah, so I would say the volume of the content you create and actually the quality as well by using your brain with AI, you can really enhance the quality and the quantity of the content you create and repurpose all the pieces that you've already created for other channels as well. Yeah, and this I really see a strong benefit of using AI, and I do use it
Same.
a lot of myself, of
Yeah,
course.
same. It got to a point where, you see, I've been working with sales since 2019, meaning since from 2019 to 2023, 24. I was the one writing my own emails, my own everything, my own content, and I was using grammar check tools just to make sure that I wasn't writing anything wrong. But then something happened, which was ChatGPT 3, the third version, and I noticed that I could just prompt it very well, like how I like to write and how I like my writing to be looking like. And you see this, I don't know if it's an issue yet, but even if I'm writing, "Hi, Christina, thank you so much for letting me know about this. Hope you had a great weekend. Check you later. Bye bye." I go to ChatGPT to make sure that it is writing in the best possible way, which is crazy because I know it is, but I'm doubting myself. It's the math exam when you're having a math exam at school and you're summing up 2 plus 2 just because you don't want to have the wrong answer. Right. So this is how I feel like a lot of companies, a lot of people, professionals, you and I are using ChatGPT or any other AI tool. And this, of course, can be the future. But then, as I said, what I use mostly about AI is to optimize, as you said, to make sure that it is an add-on to our brain. And a lot of companies, they like to optimize things, especially in short-term ways, because they want to get customers fast. So they think in short term. They think how to acquire the most out of it in the shortest time possible. But we know this usually is not healthy long run, right? If you want to stay around, if you want to make sure that you build an authority and you want to stay around, you need to think long term, especially in branding. So let me ask you this, and this will be my last question before we go to the closing one. Do you have a framework where you can balance short term performance with long term brand equity, brand development that you like to always be working with?
Yeah, definitely. I always try to keep the long-term goal in my mind with, I think it's pretty visible in mentorship when founders come with a specific request and then down the road they get swamped by the priority that is more important right now and they actually forget their initial request and they actually forget their strategic goal. I think that happens a lot and I'm trying to always have it in mind, like record it, and I'm with the founders, I help them to come back to this initial goal and just to make sure that we're still in line and we're moving towards our North Star. And in terms of real implementation, I think it's just a question of distributing your efforts, being it's your own efforts or you and your AI efforts, or it's your team's efforts. You can just assign the percentage that you will dedicate to the short term or long term goals. I mean, it is still important to optimize for now, like just see what is happening now, especially for early stage where every move actually defines your next moves, where every experiment is extremely valuable because it gives your market feedback and you would really validate if your product is even needed on the market. So I would say for early stage, it's good to dedicate like 60, 70% for optimizing for now. But if you're already growing, start thinking of your retention. Like start thinking of what is the brand perception, what is the user experience that you're building, because eventually this is what brings your LTV, this is what brings your recurring revenues in the future. So just depends on your growth stage, this percentage of your allocation will change.
Perfect. You see, my closing question would be any advices you could give to anybody who's starting out, but you gave so many advices already, especially for those who are starting out, that I don't need to ask that question. So I do have an extra and final one, which for sure will create a debate over on the comments. We talked a lot about photography. Coming back to Splento, coming back to food, we talked a lot about photography through our smartphones, right? And I've been a geek for such a long time. I've had Samsung phones. I've had Chinese brands like OnePlus is a very nice Chinese brand that I very much love to this day. Google right now is very much famous for the Pixel line, which has the best camera in the Android market space. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge Apple fanboy. I love Apple products. I know that a lot of people ask me, like, but Victor, you know so much about software. You know how to handle Windows, Linux. Why are you stuck in the environment? And in my opinion, it's just because whenever I need a good picture, I know that the iPhone can take it. So now, my question to you, my final question to you, do you have a preference whenever there is a need of a shooting with a mobile phone? Do you have a preference towards model and brand, or let's just go with the flow and see what's available at the moment?
Well, me personally, I'm an iPhone user, but
There it is,
my
Apple for the
experience,
win.
yeah, yeah, but it's just pretty old ones. But
Okay.
my experience shows, like, because I work in AI powered photography, you can honestly, if you're using our services, you can shoot with any camera, any
With a Motorola
smartphone.
phone, it's
Yeah,
gonna do
yeah,
just fine.
absolutely. Yeah. Pixelated image, help us understand what is the dish that you photographed.
Okay,
We will reproduce this dish for you. So honestly,
perfect.
there is no preference.
Nice.
We're capable of working with any kind of quality pictures. That's the goal, actually, making the high quality food photography accessible to anyone, no matter what is your equipment.
That's it. That there is no more of a concern because I'm pretty sure that you remember this as well. Back in 2000, let's say back in 2020, the discussion between iPhone and Samsung I'm using as an example just because it's the biggest brand in Android. But there was always that discussion of how the API of Instagram would work wonderfully with the iOS ecosystem because it's easier to develop than according to Android. The gap is getting thinner and thinner, both in hardware terms and now with AI helping, right? So restaurants themselves, they don't need to overspend on an iPhone 16 Pro Max anymore. They can just get a Pixel 9a, which costs, I don't know, $400, $500. And the AI itself will make sure that it works, right?
Well,
The
I doubt that
perception.
we would even need to take pictures in the future.
Yeah, same,
I mean, they
same.
will be generated. So far, we're still taking them. And even like our pictures that we generate, they pass through human retouching, human moderation. So there is a lot of human touch involved. But maybe this actually, the act of taking picture, maybe it's not even needed, right? With AI being developed.
What a crazy
Let's
time to
see.
be alive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, we went through having the power, the entire world in our hands through a camera system that fits in our pocket to not needing it anymore because, AI would just generate better things than we do right now, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Christina, thank you so much for sharing everything that you just did, the experience that you bring to the table as a mentor, as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as a product manager, as a product developer. It's such a rare occasion to have somebody who knows a lot about different sectors that it's easy for me to understand how Splento is doing well because they have you. And having you here on the show will also make sure that more people now understand how the market is evolving and how they can even get in touch with you to make sure that you and your services can help further down the line. So thank you for being here with us. I do wish you all the best. Anything you'd like to say before we end up here?
No, thank you so much, Victor. It was a
Of course.
pleasure to be on this podcast. It was a pleasure to chat with you.
Same.
I'm happy to share any resources that you need, any
Perfect.
articles on how to build your product. I can see your strong entrepreneurial mindset. So, yeah, it was really a
Perfect.
pleasure to chat with you.
Yeah, and you see, for everybody else who's here with us, if you have any questions about how to start your business, if you need help with a mentorship, if you need help about taking the best picture possible of that pizza that you like so much, you know who to get in touch with. All the links will be down in the description below the like button. Don't forget about that. And we'll see each other in the next time. Thank you all.